Hello and welcome to my Nexus 5X review. Just a couple quick notes. This is the 32 gig white edition of the Nexus 5X, and this was used on the Cricket network, which is AT&T basically. That's all. Let's get into the review. Now, the first thing you see when you get a phone is the actual hardware on the outside of the phone. So that's where I want to start on this review. The Nexus 5X is made from a matte plastic. The white one that I ordered does not gather fingerprints at all, which is really nice. The actual size of the phone is 5.79 inches, which makes it a hair bigger than the Samsung Galaxy S6, making it not too big to handle in one hand, but it is getting very close. On the back of the phone, there is a slight camera bump, but it is completely smoothed over and feels really nice. It feels like your finger's going up a ramp when you drag your finger across it. Now, this coupled with the ridge of the fingerprint sensor makes the back of the phone have a unique yet comfortable feel in hand. I actually prefer the plastic on this one over the original Nexus 5 from 2 years ago as well. The front of the phone is using Gorilla Glass 3, which definitely will help against scratches, but I do suggest getting a screen protector. The buttons on the device are also really weird. They are mushy, but very clicky at the same time. When you push the button, it doesn't feel very satisfying, but the click it gives you helps with masking that. Now, the headphone port is on the bottom on this device, which can be a good thing or bad thing, depending on who you are. I personally like it on the top because when I'm laying down and I have my headphones in, it's always poking me in the stomach, and I don't like that. Next, I want to move on to the specs. So one of the biggest complaints I hear of this phone is specs. To me, this doesn't make any sense because it has great specs, especially for the price they're asking. The system chip inside this guy has a Snapdragon 808, which is a hexa-core processor clocked at 1.8 GHz, backed up by an Adreno 418 for your graphics processing, and 2 gigs of RAM as well. You have a base onboard storage starting at 16 gigs, but that can be upgraded to 32. Keep in mind there is no external storage options with this device. The battery size is 2700 milliamps as well. Now, this whole package leads to a great gaming experience on this device. Playing games like Asphalt 8 and Riptide GP2, there's absolutely no lag. You might have some drop frames, but nothing that will interfere highly with your gaming experience. The only game I saw it couldn't handle very well was Minecraft Story Edition. It basically lagged every other second, so it made it virtually unplayable. I went to some forums and they blamed it on the encryption, so it might be that, I'm not too sure. So it's kind of a hit or miss if it'll play smoothly or not with the encryption. That kind of moves me into the software of this guy. This is a Nexus and it handles Marshmallow's animations very well, no stutters at all. All the new features in Marshmallow are also very well implemented, such as doze, which keeps your battery from dying when it's just laying there. There's also permissions, which you can deny and allow to apps, which I really like. And there's also Google Now on tap, which lets you look up different topics just by holding down the home button. I really like all of them in the new Marshmallow build. The cohesiveness of the software really complements everything with this phone. It feels like everything fits together in this phone, and that the software belongs to this phone. With the material design coming to more and more apps as well, it makes it feel like a more enjoyable experience to use your phone. It just makes you hate skins like TouchWiz and LG's UX, just because they don't feel as together as stock Android does. Some of the animations left some good impressions on me too, and I hope they make it to other phones, such as swiping down on the notification bar when you have a text. You can see that it smooths easily into place with the rest of your notifications. I do get lag when opening big apps such as Snapchat and any of the Google Drive apps such as Docs, Sheets, and Presentations. And this is where the phone really tends to fall apart. The phone has too many hiccups with regular use. Opening apps like Google Play Music from the notification bar takes a while to open, and at one point I couldn't even turn the phone on and it was just stuck, forcing me to reboot the phone. I definitely expected more from a stock Android device on a Nexus. Now, you do get quick updates from Google, so hopefully this will be fixed over time. But as of now, with the update that I have now, it's really not running well, and it really becomes frustrating at times. Next, I want to move over to the screen, which is a beautiful 5.2-inch IPS LCD Full HD display with 423 pixels per inch. You don't get the saturation of AMOLED, but it is still great in sunlight. Colors are lifelike, and the blacks actually feel like blacks. It's a very good display, nothing for me to complain about at all, and it just looks really nice. One of the biggest things going for this phone is the value. This phone starts at $379 for the 16 gig variant and goes to $429 for the 32 gig version. You can also order Nexus Protect, which is insurance for your phone as well. For this price, I believe you're getting a really great deal if you're not wanting to spend a flagship price for flagship specs. Now, one of the deal breakers in previous Nexuses was the camera. This is definitely one of the best cameras in a Nexus device ever, except for the 6P. Really great in daylight situations for both selfie and back main camera. It captures detail very well, and the 12.3 megapixels definitely help with that. In the low light though, it is a whole different story. I feel like the omission of OIS was a really bad idea. In low light, I don't get terrible photos, but they could be better. When you have multiple points of lights, the camera doesn't know what to do and kind of overexposes all of them, leaving the rest of the image really grainy. If you have only one point of light though, it does help, but it still overexposes it a bit, just not as much. The front-facing camera, I feel, does a better job than the main camera in terms of video. It does do better than most phones though, but not as good as, Galaxy S6 type photos. In terms of video, 1080p is okay. Could have really been helped by optical image stabilization, but in 4K, it looks crispy and great. Just watch out for the microphone ports, because I hit them a lot when I was recording. I did notice that with opening the camera, either through the power button shortcut or through my home screen, it was very slow to load, and once loaded up, can take a while to take a photo. At one point even, I couldn't open up the camera and I had to reboot the device. The camera software is definitely very janky, kind of falls in line with the rest of the software. The speaker sucks. It's worse than my S6 speaker, and that one is not too great either. I do appreciate that it is in the front, but it feels dead and distorts audio easily at high volumes. When playing music through a Bluetooth device, it's not as loud as my Galaxy S6 either. And although headphone use is on par with the rest of my devices, I just feel like audio on this device is not very pleasant to listen to. Battery life is average for this phone. I usually go from 9 to 6 p.m. before I hit 10%. It's definitely not bad, but it could be better. Doze definitely does help though when you don't have a charger and aren't going to use your device for a while. For me, it was the fact that I left my only charger at work. I went to sleep that night and I woke up the next day and I had only lost 2%. Needless to say, I was very impressed with Doze, and the battery, while it could be better, does get you through the day. Now, going into charging, this device uses the new standard USB-C. Unfortunately, it doesn't use 3.0 but 2.1, so no advantages like faster charging speeds and faster data transfers. All you get is the ability to use the cord either way you like, which is pretty convenient in the dark. It does support rapid charging, so you can charge your device faster. It will say it doesn't charge as fast as Samsung or Qualcomm's quick charging standards, but it's not too far behind them. One complaint I do have against it is that it is a proprietary quick charging solution, so unlike Samsung's and Qualcomm's where you can use them interchangeably, this one can only use the ones made specifically for it. So it made the 3 quick chargers I already have basically useless for this device. Also, make sure you buy a second cord for this guy, a USB-A to USB-C cord, because it doesn't come with one in the box. And then if you don't have one, then you won't be able to use any of your old chargers, and you also won't be able to do any file transfers unless you have a USB-C computer. Next, I want to go into the fingerprint sensor, which is my favorite part of this phone. It is awesome. The back placement makes sense. Now my finger just kind of leads itself to where the fingerprint sensor is now whenever I hold my phone. So it's kind of like Motorola's dimple. It's significant, and now I just use my phone just by having my finger there at all times. It's really convenient. It takes about 20 seconds also to set up 2 fingers, and then you're unable to lock the phone even while you're holding it upside down. And it's super fast, and it takes you right to your home screen. Now, I think the biggest question for this phone is who would I recommend it to? I would recommend this phone to someone who wants quality specs on their phone with a more than decent camera and a smaller, affordable package. I wouldn't recommend this phone to anyone that can afford more when there's better devices with better cameras and hardware and software. But if you love stock Android and use your phone moderately, then I think this could be the best package for you. For me personally, it didn't make the cut. Too many fallbacks in the software, making it unbearable for me to use. It's going back to Google. But for you, maybe not. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of my review. Also, if you have the Nexus 5X and disagree with anything I said, go ahead and pop it in the comment section as well. Make sure you like the video if you liked it, subscribe to see more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.